Hi, Tiffany. Richard.
Evening.
Good morning. Welcome to the Holston Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm the Reverend Tiffany Sapp, and I'm so glad that we can connect this time through the power of technology. Today is our first Sunday using Zoom as a way to create more connection, even as we're apart. So please be aware that this service is being live streamed and recorded, and that you can find subtitles in one of your menu options at the bottom of the screen. We are still posting the services to YouTube, and you are welcome to join us that way. But you will be missing out on the chance to participate in our interactive joys and concerns, and when we consider the question from the story. I like the Zoom format so much because it helps me remember what it is like to be present with each other on Sunday mornings. I love seeing these little thumbnails of my community at the top of the screen. We can look around and see who else is here with us. And that's important to me as we build community, that we remember who is in this with us. Do you remember how you used to sit in the sanctuary and lean over to your friend and whisper some sort of insight or quip about the service? I know you did it. Well, here in Zoom, you can use the chat to share your thoughts, your amens, your joys and concerns, all in real time with your community. So I hope we have fun with this format. As we are all learning how to do this, please give us a little grace here as well. The goal is connection, not perfection. We are, all of us, always growing. And that's called having a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. Thank you for journeying with us as we learn and grow through this new way of doing things. Today, we talk about the concept of the honorable harvest. The foundation of this idea is that in order for us to live, we must take other lives. Even the strictest vegan has to consume plant lives. And the indigenous wisdom of many tribes says that even the lives of plants matter and should be harvested respectfully. Through exploring the idea of the honorable harvest, we can get a glimpse of the way that indigenous spiritual traditions can inform how we relate to each other and to the natural world.
I am Bradley, and I'm happy to be with you today as your service leader. Even though we aren't in person, we are together. We are part of a community that is bigger than the limits of geography. If you have a chalice or a candle that you would like to light with me, please do it now. If we are fully awake, a moral question arises as we extinguish the other lives around us on behalf of our own. Whether we are digging wild leeks or going to the mall, how do we consume in a way that does justice to the lives that we take? Our chalice lighting was an excerpt from Robin Wall Kimmerer's Braiding Sweetgrass. She's a botanist and a member of the citizen Potawatomi Nation, a Native American tribe located in Oklahoma. Our story today comes from Reverend Clyde Grubbs, a Unitarian Universalist minister and a member of the Cherokee Nation. He told the story at General Assembly this year and has given us permission to share it. Reverend Grubbs shares that in the traditions of his people, the four-legged animals are older and wiser than the two-legged animals, humans. And so in many of the stories, we can learn from our animal elders. This is Rabbit and Turtle.
I'm going to tell a story, and the story comes out of the mountains of called the Great Smoky Mountains, Tennessee's eastern ridge is the Great Smoky Mountains, and North Carolina's western ridge is the Great Smoky Mountains, and it also comes down and very, very far north and east of Alabama, the Great Smoky Mountains, and northern Georgia. So the kind of states were designed to end in the Great Smoky Mountains. Of course, when this story was first told, there were no states. It was just the land of the Cherokee. So this is a story from long ago. And it's a story that teaches a moral. Teaches a moral that can be healing and can be restorative, because I'll tell you, when young people heard this story, they all heard it together in the community, and so all their life they would compare themselves to characters in these stories that they were told. So the story opens with a rabbit. Now you understand that a rabbit is the trickster animal, and one of the wonders of these stories is quite often the trickster is getting tricks. The trickster is being tricked. The trickster is being overcome by a different kind of thinking. That's a characteristic of many of these stories. So here we have the story is that the rabbit has been bothering all the animals about racing, and he's especially bothering a turtle. The turtle just sits there and says, "Oh no, here comes the rabbit, and he's going to bother me again." So the rabbit comes and he bothers the turtle. Sure enough, just like he always does, he says, "I want to race. I want to race you." And the turtle says, "Why would I want to race you? Well, it's just not something I want to do." Well, the rabbit says, "Because I'll beat you, because I'm the fastest thing in the whole woods. Nothing can beat me. I'm just the fastest. And I want to race you so I can show you that how fast I am." Turtle thinks about that for a while and says, "I'll tell you what, rabbit, I will race you and I will beat you." And rabbit says, "How the heck can you beat me?" And he jumps back and forth and says, what's your plan? What do you think?" And turtle says, "I'll meet you at 4 sunrises at the beginning of the Overland Trail." That's the trail that's going to lead from the most western part of North Carolina, and it's going to go up and over the mountains and end in Tennessee. It's a long trail. It takes days for the turtle to go across that trail. But That's what he wants. He's going to race you on the overland trail. So Rabbit says, this is not going to be hard at all. I'll beat that turtle. And so I'll see you there in 4 sunrises. 4 sunrises. Now, this has got a rabbit and a turtle, but you may have thought, well, this is like that Greek story, Hesiod's Tales, and it's got but that's about a tortoise and a hare. This is about a rabbit and a turtle. Different. So they're on the 4th sunrise. The sun comes up, and there's turtle waiting there at the finish line, and Rabbit just keeps going. He just runs right up to the finish line, and then he keeps running up ahead. He's running ahead, just like he's just like going. It didn't even notice saw the turtle was there, but he didn't really notice. Say hello. How's your sunrises been? Nothing. It just keeps going. And he runs up a hill. He runs up to this high hill where he can look out over the trails. And there, ahead of him, he sees Turtle. He sees Turtle. So Rabbit just keeps running again. He got to catch the turtle. And he kind of catch the turtle, and he gets up to a couple of hills, and another vista, and he looks out over the trails. And there, ahead of him, he sees Turtle. Like, how the heck does he keep getting ahead of me? I keep running and running and running and running, and I know I'm the fastest rabbit in the world. And the rabbit's a lot faster than any turtle. So he keeps running and running and running and running. And every time he gets up to a high hill and looks out over the vista and out over the trails and out over everything, he sees Turtle ahead of him. Sees Turtle ahead of him. Just Turtle going along, Turtle going along, Turtle going along. And the rabbit just runs. He just determined to use his speed to beat that turtle who's got some magic that's going on that puts him ahead, even though the rabbit puts all his energy into going up those hills, down those hills, around the corners. So after about 4 days, they're getting kind of close to the finish line, and this has happened over and over again. He keeps seeing Turtle. He gets very close to Turtle, but he sees Turtle ahead of him, and he gets to Tennessee, gets down over the hills, and he gets into there, and he gets to the finish line, gets to the place where the trail ends. There's Turtle. Turtle's waiting for him. Even though Rabbit's run as fast as he could, as far as they just day and night. It's not like that Greek rabbit that just took naps and just was lazy. No, this is a Smoky Mountain rabbit. He's just full of speed and vigor and fire, and he just goes off and he passes. He doesn't even talk to Turtle when he gets to the finish line. He just, you beat me. You must have done something to beat me because I'm the fastest thing around. And you know, he was having a fit. He was having one of them narcissistic crisis, they call it in the books I read. You know, when somebody gets angry at losing. So that's what happened. He gets there and he runs off into the woods and doesn't talk to anybody, and just it gets on his mind, and he just gets annoyed with himself and with the world and with Turtle especially. Blames Turtle. Something. Turtle did something. Well, Turtle just waits there. Day, a 2, a 3. Turtle just sits there at the finish line till all the other turtles come along from the trail and greet him, and then they go off and counsel and on what they're going to do to trick the tricksters again. That's what they did. They had a council, made a plan. They said, this is a good plan. It all depends on pre-planning, getting yourself ahead out there, being proactive, not just leaving it up to chance, knowing teamwork and planning. That's what they said. Every young should be taught about that. How to get further along when you work with your friends, teams, you work with your others, you form a bond, and yep. So they that's what turtles learned. They can beat the trickster. They can beat the rabbit if they plan. But rabbit never learned. He never learned that if you slow down and you look, you might even discover that all turtles don't look alike. Yep, you might learn that. Well, that's our story, and we're sticking to it.
What a great story. I wonder, what are the things that we can do together that we cannot do alone? If you want to reflect on your answer in the chat, I would love to read your thoughts. And if there are any kids with us today, maybe you can share your thoughts with the adults. Our musical offering for the day is People Are Good. Songwriter Daniel Norgren's prolific songwriting work often echoes the Swedish landscape that he calls home. His way of blending rhythm and tone is unlike any other. Karis has attempted to evoke his heartfelt style, which expresses the optimistic view of eternal good in each human soul. Let us reflect on the kindness we share with each other as we listen to People Are Good.
People are bad. People are mean. They take what they can. You know what I mean. Strange as it seems, people are good. Strange as it seems, I live by the dream that under their hood, people are good.
Wow. Wow. Thank you to Karis for that. So one of the blessings of being together in Zoom is that we can hold each other's joys and concerns together as a community. Please type your joys and concerns in the chat. I might end up reading some of what you type out loud, so please only share what you are comfortable with everyone knowing. And recognize that if you're with us on YouTube, I'm not going to be able to see what you write in the YouTube chat. Starting this week, we are also going to begin a practice of lighting a candle for everyone affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which we know is actually all of us, even though some are affected more than others. As of this morning, 4,813,175 people have died worldwide from COVID-19. We witnessed this tragedy, and we will not look away. And we are not alone. We can scroll through the top of our screen on Zoom and see who is with us here. Use those little blue arrows. See who's with you today. And so knowing that I'm with community, I can breathe in and breathe out your support. I feel connected. I feel supported. I know I have a community to navigate the complexities of life with, and I'm grateful for each of you, and grateful for the way that we care about each other. And that makes me think of all the other things I'm grateful for. And so I say thank you. Thank you for the coming of fall, for cooler weather, the promise of campfires and changing leaves. Thank you for progress made on a vaccine for children and the availability of booster shots for those who are the most vulnerable. Thank you for the women's marches that have happened throughout the country yesterday, and for everyone standing in solidarity with them. Thank you for the things that we share together as a community. And in the midst of that gratitude and community support, we also see the things that concern us. And so we give and receive help, and we ask for help. Help for our environment threatened by unrestrained capitalism that only sees the value in a tree when they are cut down. Help for the impoverished without access to medical care and working in unsafe conditions. grief over the 23 animals that are being moved from endangered to extinct on the endangered species list this week, and help for those who remain. Help for Haitian refugees, help for Afghani refugees, help for all who are fleeing violence. And even in these hardships, we remember that there are moments of awe that fill us with inspiration and energy that we need to go forward. And we say, wow. Wow for the moments that break our hearts, calling us to do transformative work. Wow for the natural beauty that surrounds us everywhere. Wow for the deep mysteries of space and the way they spark our imaginations. Wow for this community, the courage to try new things and the way we are connecting with each other. We lift up concerns for our area, our country, and our world. We are grateful for our community, for connecting on Zoom, for getting a break in life. We say help for Uncle Joe's family who died last week. We say help for Brittany's 90-year-old grandmother who's beginning dialysis this week. We say, wow, for being together this way. We say help for the ongoing Delta infection variants. All these things and all the things that we cannot say, we hold in our hearts as we center our practice in loving kindness.
Our reading is another excerpt from Braiding Sweetgrass, where our author shares the principles of the honorable harvest. The guidelines for the honorable harvest are not written down or even consistently spoken of as a whole. They are reinforced in small acts of daily life. But if you were to list them, they might look something like this. Know the ways of the ones who take care of you so that you may take care of them. Introduce yourself. Be accountable as the one who comes asking for life. Ask permission before taking. Abide by the answer. Never take the first, never take the last. Take only what you need. Take only that which is given. Never take more than half. Leave some for others. Harvest in a way that minimizes harm. Use it respectfully. Never waste what you have taken. Share. Give thanks for what you have been given. Give a gift in reciprocity for what you have taken. And sustain the ones who sustain you, and the earth will live forever.
I come to this topic and these sources with a tremendous sense of humility, knowing that my home and our church are built upon the land that once belonged to the Cherokee, or the phrase they might use is that they once belonged to that land. Knowing that mass graves of Indigenous children continue to be found at residential schools, and that the kids that did make it out alive were tragically stripped of their culture. Knowing that Indigenous women go missing and are murdered in disproportionately large numbers and yet never seem to make the news. So I come with humility and gratitude. Gratitude, knowing that people like Reverend Clyde Grubbs and Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer still offer us the wisdom of their traditions. I am not entitled to the work of these people. Instead, they offer it freely as a gift, because they know that the survival of the natural world as we know it, and the survival of humankind on this planet, are bound up in the interconnected web of which we are all a part. It's a gift, one that we can reciprocate with gratitude and respect by listening and learning with humility. And so as we begin to learn about the honorable harvest, we start with a story that Robin Wall Kimmerer received from Anishainaabe elder Basil Johnson. Main character is this guy named Nanabozo. He's a trickster figure who appears in many of the stories of Indigenous people around the Great Lakes. And in this story, he is going fishing for his supper with hook and line. That day, he observed heron fishing with his spear-like beak and saw how many more fish he could bring in if he fished more like heron. Heron was happy to teach him and warned him to not take too many fish. But Nanabozo didn't listen. He brought in all the fish he could carry, way more than he could eat. He filled his belly and put the rest out to dry, feeling very secure about the coming winter. Continuing the story in our author's words, day after day he stuffed himself. As the lake grew empty, his drying racks grew full, sending out delicious smells into the forest where Fox was licking his lips. Again, he went to the lake, so proud of himself, but that day his nets came up empty, and Heron looked down on him as he flew over the lake with a critical eye. When Nanabozo got home to his lodge, he learned a key rule: never take more than you need. The racks of fish were toppled onto the ground, and every bite was gone. Don't take more than you need is one of the key rules of the honorable harvest. Years ago, I was taught in this sacred way of relating to plants by one of my mentors. Even if I'm just out picking a wildflower bouquet for a table at the water communion, I pay attention to the flowers around me and what they might teach me. No matter how beautiful a flower or how useful an herb, I will not pick the first one I see. Sometimes that's hard because it's really pretty. I do as I was taught, waiting to see the second, because then I know if I pick one, another will remain to continue the gifts of that plant in that place. And I ask permission. Like our honorable harvest guidelines that Bradley read to us, introduce yourself, ask permission, abide by the answer. Now, this is an intuitive process, not a logical one, but the value of engaging in this practice is logical, because what it does for us is it invites us to a deeper level of mindfulness and care about the lives that we take. It reminds us that we're not entitled to anything and that everything on the planet is a gift that we can receive with humility and gratitude. And it is an answer to the question Bradley posed in our chalice lighting. How do we consume in a way that does justice to the lives that we take. The key word in Robin Wall Kimmerer's writings is definitely reciprocity. Reciprocity is the give and take that defines healthy relationships. Gifts are given and received in love. Like the hymn that we used to sing as a community after every offering, from you I receive, to you I give, together we share. This is how we live. Reciprocity is the flow of love back and forth between you and me, between us and the land, between me and the pigeons that challenged me to practice what I preached as I ate breakfast and wrote this sermon at an outdoor cafe in Kingsport. And when you think about reciprocity in terms of what we consume as a society, then it becomes even bigger than just the cycle of giving and receiving love and care between individuals. Instead, it can expand out to a planet-wide cycle where we are receiving everything we need from the earth to sustain life, and in return, we act respectfully toward her gifts and advocate for the well-being of the forests, mountains, waterways, and all who dwell within them. And mindfully, we take only what we need. When the honorable harvest invites us to harvest in a way that minimizes harm, it is inviting us to shift our thinking. Instead of being surrounded by natural resources that we are just entitled to, instead, we become surrounded by a web of relationships that teaches us and nurtures us interconnectedly and invites us to do our part, to give back. Respect for the interdependent web of which we are all a part. Our seventh principle. Interdependent is such a powerful word. Independent means I don't need you. Dependent means that I very much need you, but it's a one-way relationship, and I'm worried about what I can take, not about what I can give. Interdependent means that we need each other. Like the bees need the flowers for pollen, and the flowers need the bees to complete their reproductive cycle. Like mammals of the African savanna need the red-billed oxpecker to remove ticks from their bodies, and the red-billed oxpecker needs the mammals to patiently provide them with their food. Wild rice feeds the people of the lakes, and the people of the lakes harvest the wild rice in traditional ways that knock rice into canoes. And a lot of extra falls in the water this way. While greed might call that wasteful, the indigenous people know that this is the only way you can make sure you'll get more rice next season. I don't think that you all need me to tell you that our society has fallen far short from the principles of the honorable harvest. We exploit land, wringing every last bit of profit out of it. Our metaphorical fish racks are piled high. We exploit each other with unfair labor practices, treating workers as a means to an end instead of living, breathing individuals. The ways that we have lost touch with our interdependence can be overwhelming, and so many of our problems are systemic, meaning that individual acts of virtue are not going to undo the harm done by large corporations. How can we sit with the realities of environmental exploitation and global warming without giving in to despair? In the extreme discomfort of awareness, often our reaction is to the discomfort is to rush around and try to fix everything immediately. And to me, that kind of feels like Rabbit in our story this morning. And like Rabbit, in our haste and isolation, we miss a lot of important stuff. when we rush to fix things, to cure us of our discomfort. Instead, I think turtle has our answer. Go slow, work together. And so we build community and we build relationship through reciprocity and gratitude and gift. We gather up the people who want to do this work with us. Right here at Holston Valley UU, the Social Justice Committee is recruiting and is considering the ways that we can do this sacred transformational work together. If you're ready to join up with your fellow turtles, send the Social Justice Committee an email, and the contact info is on the announcement slides at the end of the service. We can shift the culture of unthinking consumption back to honorable harvest. But we have to do it together, and it's gonna take time. These problems took generations to cause. They're probably gonna take generations to fix, but we can do it together, building a community that teaches each other and strengthens each other. We can creatively and humbly seek our role in restoration and learn everything we can from the teachers that nature provides us.
Let's extinguish the chalice together with just a few more words from Robin Wall Kimmerer. The land is the real teacher. All we need as students is mindfulness. Paying attention is a form of reciprocity with the living world, receiving the gifts with open eyes and open heart. As a Unitarian Universalist community committed to our principles, we must do much more than go to church. We are also called by our values to be the church. We are also, and so our announcements are more than just news, but an invitation to live out our principles in dynamic ways. Watch the announcement slides at the end of the service for information on how to join the Social Justice Committee and how to donate to Hunger First. Reverend Tiffany would like to invite you all to join her at the next Black-White Dialogue Zoom meeting, where we will listen to an exploration of the 6 stages that a white person goes through when they wake up to the realities of racism. These stages are presented by Christina Cleveland, a Black university professor who has witnessed this process many times firsthand. Interspersed throughout Dr. Cleveland's exploration will be an opportunity for us to discuss and interact with material. This will be Monday, October 11th at 6 p.m. on Zoom. And the Zoom link is in our website in the news section. And come on out to the Grand Oak Farm Saturday, October 23rd at 5 p.m. for some fireside fall fun. Costumes, candy, pumpkins, and just a chance for us to be together. You can find more information about this event and how to register on our website.
Before I offer our benediction, I want to offer a special thank you to Ann and Cindy. They have been working on pre-recorded services for us, for y'all, for a very long time. And now they're working very hard to transition us to Zoom. And so I want to offer my heartfelt thanks for their willingness to explore this new way of connecting together. Thank you so much, Cindy and Ann. Here's our benediction. We go from this place with a renewed commitment to the interdependent web of which we are all a part. The web that holds rabbit and turtle, the web that holds heron and fox and nanabozo, the web that holds sweetgrass and wild rice and wild flowers, the web that holds the French Broad and the Nolichucky, the web that holds Eastman and ETSU, the web that holds Holston Valley Unitarian Universalist Church, the web that holds the Cherokee and the Great Smoky Mountains, the web that holds you and me and all of us. Today, we awaken to our place in the web once again. Go in peace.